visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training, where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Corey von Bill Foster, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now.
All right. Hello. Hopefully you guys can see me. It's a little dark on my side, but we gonna hope that that's just me and that y'all can see me just fine. But happy Monday. So happy we made it. like this has been a year, y'all. A year of ups and downs and twists and turns and unexpected changes and pivots and all the things, right? But we have made it. We have made it through January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and November. And here we are in December, just days away from the new year. So if nothing else, congratulate yourself on making it, making it through. Whew, something's in my eye. But yes, we are here, and we should be excited, especially those of us who have been in business all year. It has been a year of a lot of changes, right? There have been a lot of my nonprofit folks have been experiencing some changes around their ability to fundraise and get grants and get sponsors for things. My for-profit folks have seen a change in the way they've had to do marketing because of changes with social media, changes with just how people are spending their money, right? In this time of kind of unsure things. So it has been a time of a lot of adjustment for a lot of folks. So I just applaud all of you who are in business, who have made it through this year, especially those of you who have found ways to still come out on top and hit your goals. For the month of December, we have been spending some time kind of talking about how are we planning, right? How are we getting ourselves ready for the new year? And that doesn't mean that we're stopping now and just, ending all of our work for this year and jumping to next year. No, I want you to continue to do what you need to do to make this year amazing. However, in the midst of all of that, it would be irresponsible as a business owner for you not to be also planning for the future. I'm big on don't wait till January 1st to start planning for the new year, right? If you're one of those people who says, well, on January 1st, I'm gonna make a New Year's resolution and that's gonna be my business plan, like, Lord help you, because that's going to be a hard climb if that's all you're going to do. It's really important. And I get that you might be tired right now. You may be over it, exhausted, fatigued, and you just want to enjoy the rest of the month, right? You want to enjoy some family time, some holidays, some relaxation. You worked hard, but I don't want you to miss out on this crucial period of time where you can really kind of sink your teeth into planning for a successful new year. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. Last week, we touched on some things that you need to kind of keep in mind as you start planning. For those of you who did not know, on Wednesday nights, we actually do a webinar all around like what should be included in your strategic plan. And then actually this weekend is our second intensive called the Revenue Roadmap, where we are deep diving and creating strategic plans together. And that's a private event. The webinar is open to the public. It's free. So definitely, if you're interested in that, and I'll mention it again at the end, you can put webinar in the chat and one of my team members will send you a link to the free webinar happening on Wednesday at 5. I have to remember the times, Eastern. And then, like I said, this weekend, we have a few spots left for the Revenue Roadmap Intensive, where we're helping you create your strategic plan over 2 days. It's Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5. So just want to throw that out there. If you're interested in intensive, put intensive in the chat. If you're interested in the webinar, put webinar in the chat and we will definitely send that to you. But while we're here today, I actually want to talk more about how to ensure that once the strategic plan is made, that you actually can follow it. Because I know some of you are like, well, I got a business plan. Well, yeah, you got a business plan that you made 5 years ago that's sitting in the bottom of a drawer collecting dust that you never use. And I'm sure even if you made the strategic plan, some of you would do the same. You would make it, feel all great about it, put it in a drawer, never look at it again. I really want you guys to get in the habit of utilizing these tools as a launch pad, as a roadmap, to actually use it as kind of an implementation guide throughout the year. But before we dive into that, let me just back up and make sure I introduce myself, because we always have new folks watching, whether they're watching live or watching the replay. My name is Corey Fonville Foster. I'm a speaker, trainer, and business coach that specializes in implementation. I'm all about you getting things done in your business. I'm also the CEO and founder of iRock Marketable Business Solutions, which is a small business marketing firm based out of Virginia, but servicing clients from coast to coast and up into Canada. And we support our clients basically with outsourcing. We help you with VA services. So if you're trying to start building out your team, we have amazing trained VAs that specialize in social media and admin type tasks. We also have a marketing firm where we have done for you services, so logos, websites, email campaigns, video editing, social media marketing, and much more, funnels, all that fun stuff. So if you are in need of any type of marketing or admin support, you are in the right place. But we also come here every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for these Monday Night Lives. So that is what you are attending today from wherever you're watching. I think, where are we today? We're on Facebook in a few different places. We're on LinkedIn and we're on YouTube. So shout out to you guys for being here. And feel free to chat with me in the comments. I will tell you I'm visually impaired. I don't be seeing this stuff in real time, but I will come back and look at it. But if I do see a comment, let me see. Y'all, I don't think y'all will be able to see it, but I got a giant magnifying glass. Let's see. Okay, we got a webinar in the chat. We will definitely send you a link to the webinar. Like I said, it's free Wednesdays. We've been doing it every Wednesday. So if y'all just finding out about it, you late to the game, but no worries. Definitely. Okay, Lakeisha, thank you. I was like, I think Lakeisha's up here, but yeah, definitely join us. The webinar is free. Tell your friends, because this is the last one of the year. Y'all, I try to also do what I tell you guys and not just be like, I'm throwing in the towel at the end of the year and chilling out. But my birthday is Friday. So I kind of close out my in-person, like me being at the forefront, doing all the things. Once my birthday hits, y'all lucky y'all getting 2 days after my birthday. I had to tell my family, hey, my birthday is Friday, but we're going to do this intensive that Saturday and Sunday. But once that is done, we do no more webinars. We do no more intensives. And yeah, you can still book appointments and we're still doing business, but your girl gets to take a little break from being in front of the camera outside of our Monday Night Live. So I tell you what I recommend, and I also follow from my lead, because we are also in strategic planning mode, finishing up that and getting our house in order. All right. So again, we're going to be talking about, like, once you get your plan together, however you do it. I suggest you do it our way, but if you do it your own way, that's fine. How do we then take that, right, whatever that plan is, and then implement it throughout the year, right? And so the first thing I want you to do is stop with the New Year's resolutions. You can do it if you want for like weight loss. I do it all the time. That's why your girl ain't lost not a pound. But when it comes to your business, I want you to set very, very strategic goals. Right. And I'm old school. I like SMART goals, right? That specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time bound. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I love creating SMART goals, and I like creating SMART goals in different areas. And I think this is why some people think SMART goals don't work, is because they will make one SMART goal for the whole year, right? They're going to throw everything into that one sentence. And it's like, pause, right? There are different goals that you need to have in business. There are some revenue goals, right? How much money you want to bring in. There are some profit goals. That's where y'all also kind of forget about that. There's also, if you plan on taking an owner's draw, like getting your own paycheck, that may be different from your profit, right? Because some of you are like, oh, I made this amount of profit, but they don't necessarily make it to your purse. So do you have some payroll type goals, right? Do you have some team building goals, right? Do you have some things that you're like, hey, I got one person now. By the end of the year, I want to have 5 people, and these are the folks I want, right? Do you want to give yourself raises throughout the year? All those are kind of like money goals, right? But then you also have like client goals. Sometimes it's like, well, you know what? It's not even just about how much I make. I want to serve this amount of people, right? You may say, I want to serve 100 people. in these different ways. Maybe you have a course, maybe you have a community, maybe you want to just talk to them at speaking engagements, but do you have a number? Is there any specific projects you want to take care of this year? Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to launch your own podcast. Maybe you want to speak at so many speaking engagements. That was a big one for me this year. I was like, I gotta have a few in-person engagements. I don't really like to leave my house. I like to be in my pajamas. But I said this year, I wanted a specific number of in-person. I wanted a specific number of podcasts. I wanted a specific number of virtual events because I knew that was going to give me some additional traction. Some of you may even want to get on radio or TV this year or this upcoming year. Write those goals down, because once we have our goals solidified and they're SMART, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time bound. Then the next step, because we don't want to stop there. This is where a lot of people stop. They make that either one big goal or they'll make a couple big goals for the year, and then they stop and they hope and they dream and they pray that they get there. But the thing is, we can't just stop there. Right. So the next thing I want you to do after you make those goals is kind of map out, how do you think you're going to get there? Right? Because if you have no clue, it's going to be real hard for you to get that done. I'm not saying that this is going to be a perfect map, but start really thinking about, okay, if my goal is I want to land 10 podcasts this upcoming year, how do I figure I'm going to do that? Maybe a few of them might come from connections, right? I'm going to do some networking, find some people that have podcasts. Maybe a few of those are going to come from just plain research. I'm going to find some podcasts that have people that they bring on in my industry, and I'm going to pitch them. Maybe some of them are going to come through paid connections. Like, I'm just going to pay to appear on some, right? Because that happens too. Start thinking about, how do you feel you're going to be able to get to this goal? And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, outlined amazingly. You don't have to have everybody's name if you're going to reach out to people, but have some type of idea of how you plan to get this thing done. Because sometimes we will have a goal and we will have no knowledge of how to get there. Some people will say, well, I want to win 2 business awards this year. Right? They don't know the name of these awards. They don't know how these awards are picked. They don't know if they need to be nominated, if they need to pay for an application, what the process is. And so it's important for us to know from jump, is there some knowledge, right, or research that we need to do before we can even plot out how we're going to get to the goal. So go ahead and put the goals out there, shoot for the stars. All right, what is your yearly goal? And then map out how you think you might possibly get there. And again, it doesn't have to be in detail. Once you have a map, we can then see if there's some additional research, like I said, knowledge and additional things we need to put on the calendar to ensure we kind of get those things squared away. Now we're going to take another step after that. We're then going to say, all right, if this is our yearly goal, what do we need to do per quarter? Right? We're not going to make it crazy per quarter to get there. Because if I say I want to do, let's say I want to do 12 speaking engagements. Well, that's roughly one a month. So I need to say, hey, in a quarter, I need to get at least 3 to 4 of them junks out the way, right? Because if I get through the first quarter and I've had no speaking engagements, I know I'm already behind the ball. So you need to think about it like that and say, okay, if this is the big goal, what do I need to accomplish quarterly so that I'm not feeling defeated or rushed at the end of the year trying to get to this goal? And I'll give you an example that's not even business related that I checked on just today. I started the year off, again, I'm visually impaired, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to like read books, but I said, you know what, I want to listen to books. I want to do some audiobooks. And I said, I want to do 50 books this year, right? 50. I don't know what I was thinking, y'all. I be just jumping for like, hey, do this. I think the average person reads like 1 book a year. I said, nah, give me 50. And I was so nervous. I was plotting them out every month until the end of October. And then I realized I was still listening to them, but I wouldn't go to back of my sheet. Why? Because I was nervous that the numbers weren't going to look right. And I was going to feel, like I said, defeated. Even though I knew I had already read like 30 some odd books. I was like, oh my gosh, like, ooh, I'm probably real far away. I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to get discouraged. But today I sat with my intern. I said, let me go ahead and plot these in, all these books that I've been reading. and I think we're at like 44. I think that's the number, something like that. I think I got like 6 books left for this month, and it would still be hard. I don't know if I'm gonna get it, but it's so much doable. It's more doable, and the reason why it's doable is because I literally was tracking it every month. And some months I only read like 3 books, and then the next month I was like, oh, I gotta step my game up, and I do 5 and things like that. And the reason why is because I was plotting them. A lot of you sometimes are afraid to plot that progress. But you got to, because again, if you have that big yearly goal and you don't look at it, but at the beginning of the year when you set it and at the end of the year when you probably don't get it, it's going to suck. But if you go ahead and say, okay, I got this big goal, I chopped it up into 4 pieces. Now at least we know every quarter we can check in. And if we are on target, we're more likely to get to that goal. Now, I don't even want you to wait a quarter, because what I find is that if we tell you you only got to hit it and watch it at the quarter, you're going to wait to the last minute. So once you get your quarterly goals, go ahead and break those suckers down into monthly goals, right? Because I'm big on, hey, you can have a bad day. You can have a bad week. Heck, you can have a bad month, but too many bad months make it very, very hard to catch up, right? Life will be lifing. Life be lifing. But you cannot let that whole idea of stuff happening to you derail the goals that you've already set. And so, yes, we are adults. Things do happen, traumatic, crazy, irritating, stressful things that can take some time to get through, right? I remember there was a summer I was ready to roll. My grandma fell, broke her hip, ended up needing to come live with us. She's the parent of 2 twins. So one of the twins ended up leaving with us that summer. The twins plus my son all ended up landing paid internships at different locations in the city. My eyes flared, so then I was going to the doctor. It was a mess. One of the kids got cut at work by accident, ended up at the urgent care. It was a thing, y'all. Like the whole summer, it was stressful. It was rough. It was 2 whole months. Now, those 2 whole months when life was lifing, there was we call it a plateau in our business, right? We want to do this all year. But when that happened, when life was lifing, it was like, yeah, it just kind of sat there, and it sucks. But luckily, we weren't just waiting to the end of the year. We were tracking, and we could see that the trajectory changed to a plateau. So as soon as we kind of got through the life be life for them 2 months, we revved it back up, right? And we were able to say, okay, well, we missed these milestones, so now we got to kind of really hit it hard. And we were able to still end the year great. But a lot of you aren't tracking it, right? Sometimes it's a fear of knowing the information. Sometimes it's just, hey, I didn't track it. But I want you guys to track it, because when you're looking at it month by month, you can say, hey, life hit me hard. Kids got sick. Didn't get to do a lot of things I wanted to do, had a car payment, didn't get invested in ads, whatever the case may be. But that next month, now we got a plan to bring it back up. But again, we don't get that hit, right? That information if we're not tracking it. So you got your yearly goal, you mapped out how you think you might get there. You got your quarterly goals to have those milestones, right? Those check-in points. And then we have monthly things that we need to be doing to make sure that we are hitting those quarterly goals. Again, we're not going to stop there. Because I know my people. That's why I love implementation. I know my people. And if I tell you that you only got to check in once a month, you can wait till the 28th, 29th, or the 30th to check in and try to get that goal done. So we're not going to make a goal for a day or a week, but we are going to have action steps. So if you have a monthly goal, I want you to sit down and put a list, like a running list of the actions you need to take throughout the month. And I would put it, by week, preferably, of like what needs to get done, right? If you got to launch at the end of the quarter, then what you have to have done each month, and then what actions do you need to take to get to those monthly goals, right? They're not goals, they're actions. These are actionable things that you need to do. So if you got a book launch, hey, you need to get your marketing together. You need to get your press release together. You need to get the book formatted. You need to get your cover done and approved. You may need, if you're going to get a publisher to do it, you may need to query, right? There's lots of actions that need to be taken. Heck, you need to write the book. But there are a lot of actions that need to be taken, that need to be written down, that are not just milestone pieces, right? Right? You need to write chapter 1. You need to write your table of contents, whatever the case may be. But you need to have those action steps written so that you can actually get to the goal. And this is why they say I don't do like a daily goal type thing, because once we have our actions set out per week that lead up to our monthly goal, I always tell my folks, you get a top 3 priorities per day, right? Because we got to be smart about it. And I tell my people all the time, I said, I love to-do lists myself, right? I got a running to-do list. You guys can't see it, but it's on my board over here. And it has a whole bunch of stuff on it that we going to get done this week. It stays over there. What's on my desk is typically a three-part sticky note. Like, trying to see if I got my little sticky pad right here. 3 things go on that. Those are the 3 items that I gotta get done today, right? I gotta get them done today. Now, if I'm doing good and I finish my sticky note, guess what I can do? I can turn the page, get a new sticky note, and add another thing to my list. But what I don't want you guys to do is start taking that running list and then using that as your to-dos for the day. Because what's going to happen is you're going to look at that long list, you're going to look at it twice, and then you're going to pick the easiest thing to do on that list. The thing that is not going to make you push yourself out the box. The thing that's like, oh, yeah, this seems fun. This is good. And you're going to do that thing. And then the next day, guess what you're going to do? You're going to do the same thing. And there's going to be some stuff that really should get done that aren't your favorite, that are still on that list. And then when you get to the end of the month, you can say, well, why didn't I hit my goal? It's because that thing sat on your list every day and you just slid past it every single time. And I don't want you to get in that habit. So when you have 3 things on the list, you may bypass it in the morning. You may bypass it at lunch. But when you come back from lunch, you're going to have no choice but to get that thing done, right? Even if it's not the most fun thing for you to do. So that is kind of how I encourage you to be more consistent with your goal setting and actually implementing them. I know it seems like a lot of work, but you just have to find the right way to track it for you. I'm big on being a hybrid planner. So what I found is some people like to be able to write things down, right? They like, I got to put pen to paper. And then there are some people that's like, if it ain't on my digital spreadsheet connected to my phone, connected to my tablet, I'll never see it. Figure out where it works best for you. I'm hybrid, so I put all of my meetings on my digital calendar so that I get alerts and everything's connected to the Zoom and all the fancy automation. But then I write my to-dos. I find that that's easier because I like the feeling of scratching through it, erasing it, check marking it, Xing through it. Like that gives me a little motivation throughout the day. So that's kind of how I do it. I do not do well with writing down my schedule. Like that sit there I won't ever remember. But like I said, my schedule's on my calendar. And then I write down my 3 priorities. And then on my board, I have kind of our running list there. And that works for me. That may not work for you. Figure out what works best. But again, you know that you need your yearly goal, right? Make it smart. You need to map out how you think you're going to get there. You need to then take it into some quarterly milestone type goals and then monthly strategic goals. And then go ahead and create your action step list and then your 3 priorities per day, right? And it's just like that saying about how to eat an elephant 1 bite at a time. That's how you achieve your goal, 1 action at a time, right? Getting those priorities done and finishing out the list. And what I'll tell you too is a lot of people get stuck in the mindset stuff. And people always ask me, like, how do I get past that? And I'm saying I trick my mind. I really do. I like to instead, like, I know I might have a lot of tasks to do, but if I only have 3 written down, it seems more manageable. And then I also get that endorphin kick when I finish the list versus that long list, right? If I have just the weekly list, I feel so defeated if the list isn't finished at the end of the day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I only got 2 things done and it's 10 things on the list. So it's really nice to put less on the list because you actually will see that you'll get more done because you're actually focusing on less things at a time. So I hope that makes sense. And if you're listening to this and you have a system for how you track your goals and how you track your action steps, throw it in the chat. Like, I want this to be a conversation because I think that it's helpful to other people to say, well, how are you guys doing it? There's so many cool like planner type things out there that people are using. There's things that connect to your devices and all kind of stuff. There's digital planners. Figure out the way that works best, but just remember the steps that you need. And then I'm going to give you kind of a little bonus tip today, right? This is a plan, a map, right? If any of you have ever driven cross country or tried to take a trip with your family, stuff be happening, right? You got an itinerary, all this stuff, but then there'll be delays. There'll be all kind of things happening. Somebody lost a bag, whatever the case may be. Business is like that as well. You can create the prettiest, best, bulletproof plan, but things are going to happen that you don't expect. Be okay with adjusting, right? Be okay with pivoting when necessary, but do not allow the adjustments or the pivot, that grace that you're giving yourself, be the reason why you're never getting things done. Because I've seen it both ways. Some people are like afraid to change their plans. They're like, nope, this is my plan. And they try to stay the course. And it's like, this thing happened. We really should be adjusting. We should adjust sooner than later so that we can still capitalize on the moment and not lose momentum. And then on the other hand, we got folks that's like, well, I feel like, this didn't work. I'm just going to pivot. This didn't work, so I'm going to pivot. And it's like, no, we have to be honest with ourselves and say, do we feel like we need to pivot because we're afraid to go full throttle on this? Are we saying we want to pivot because this is uncomfortable? Or are we afraid to pivot because we don't want to feel like our plan isn't working, or that we don't want to put more effort into creating a new plan? Right? We have to have those honest conversations, because there are going to be times when there is going to be an obstacle that we going to have to make some adjustments for that we didn't plan for. Like I said, grandma broke her hip. Who knew? Who knew that was going to happen? And then all the things that kind of steamrolled after that because of that one incident. Who knew? Then we had to say, okay, this is the situation. Now we have to adjust. Heck, right now, I had a totally different plan, but not a totally different plan, but definitely a different plan for our 2026. But now that my eyes have been just cutting up, acting a fool, I just was on a call today and I was like, hey, I had to make some adjustments because I can't base my business on doing more, like a lot of one-on-one coaching, even though it's what I love, because I can't be responsible for showing up all the time like that when my health is the way it is. So we had to adjust and say, well, actually, we're going to put more attention on these other programs, still give people amazing value, but Corey doesn't have to be the center of it all the time. And so some of those kinds of conversations need to happen with yourself and with your team to say, okay, what makes sense? Some of you are still working your 9 to 5. Well, if that's the case, then there may be adjustments you need to make into what you're going to offer and how you're going to get in front of your clients. Right? If you got little kids at home, you might not be able to travel as much. So you might say, well, I need to do more virtual events than in-person events. Right? If your money is funny, you might say, well, we need to really nail down our organic marketing because we can't spend a lot of money on ads right now. Or we need to start, taking this amount out of our money, our profits. We need to start putting it back into the business to run ads. So there's a lot of conversations that you should be having right now, like I said, with yourself, with your team, with your partners, your spouse, whomever, your higher power, and saying, again, what is the plan, right? What is the vision that you have for your business next year? And once you have that plan, how do you plan to actually stay consistent and get things done to achieve your goals? Because I would hate for you to be sitting watching one of my videos next year in December saying, dang, I wish I would have listened to her last year because I created a cool little, New Year's resolution plan and I ain't do none of it. I just sat it on a sticky note, put it on a mirror and never looked at it again. Right? Coulda, shoulda, wouldas. So like I said, we're here to support you because I do definitely think it's easier said than done. And if you have never created a full strategic plan, it can be a bit overwhelming. I know for me, it used to take me months and then it took me like a week. And now we got it kind of down to 2 days to really put that plan together. Like I said, on Wednesday, if you type webinar in the chat, our team will send you the link for our free webinar. It's live, so you can still ask questions. And I may be nice enough to record it for you guys so y'all can watch it after, because I ain't doing it live after this week. I told you my birthday Friday, but we have a webinar roadmap. A revenue roadmap webinar we've been doing every Wednesday. So Wednesday at 5 will be the last one that's live for this year, but we're telling you what to include in your strategic plan. So what different areas and categories you should be really looking at, even if you're a sole entrepreneur or you have a team, to really create that plan for next year and have a fully optimized year where you're really diving into your revenue goals. Outside of that, this weekend, again, we have a 2-day intensive. You can put intensive in the chat if you want more information on this. This is a paid event. It's 2 days, 10 to 5 both days. Even if you can't make both days, you can watch the replays. It comes with a workbook that when you finish, will literally have your full strategic plan done. We're even showing you how to use AI to kind of speed up that process. But it's individualized. So every person's going to leave with a specific strategic plan based on what they are trying to do within their business, specific to them, which is really, really cool. So you don't have to do this thing alone. You definitely can get support. It's going to be great. We're going to walk through different sessions throughout the 2 days. And I think that this will be eye-opening, definitely, for those who have never done it before, but it's going to be life-changing for those who actually implement it, because you will have in your hand that roadmap to get to that goal, not just the ideas. You will know exactly what you need to do to get things done and be successful, which I think is really half the battle as a business owner, because when you're out here trying to just do whatever, it's very hard to keep your head above water and get to those goals. So those are the things we're supporting you with. Again, I think I may possibly record it so that people who didn't get a chance to come to one of the Wednesday webinars will get an opportunity. But like I said, the intensive, this is our last one of the year. I've been telling folks to do it, to get the planning done. I don't want you waiting to the new year. So please, 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 as limited seatings, do this for yourself. Do this for your business. We've already discounted the price. It was $1,500, but we totally understand this time of year. It gets hard, right? I got a kid. I understand. Christmas gifts is not even like the amount of inflation right now is crazy. So yeah, we brought it down to $597, but there's only 30 spots total available for the 2 days. That includes folks that's going to come in person, not in person, but be there during the live event, and those who can attend that will be watching the replay. It's totally virtual, so you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to leave your house. You can stay in your pajamas and do your thing, but it's going to be very hands-on, and we are going to get it done so that you don't have to keep wondering, how am I going to do business next year? What software am I going to use? What team am I going to have? What mindset shifts do I need to make? Right? What content should I be putting out? How much should I be charging for these products and softwares? What offers am I going to put out? Right? All of that will be taken care of over those 2 days. And this doesn't matter if you're a new business or an established business. You can get it done in the 2 days. So I hope to see you guys there. Don't forget, we got a few more Monday Night Lives coming. Today's with the 8th, so I think we got 3 more this month. And then the Monday Night Lives are gone. So if you've been riding with us, make sure you attend the rest of the Monday Night Lives. We're going to still be talking about planning, because if you didn't realize, this is the time to get it done. But guys, that is it for tonight. Remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock, and I will see you guys next Monday. And hopefully I'll see you Wednesday at the webinar. Are you a service-based small business owner juggling multiple roles and constantly racing against the clock? Make iRock Marketable Business Solution your trusted business partner in achieving business success. We understand the unique challenges you face in managing your business. That's why we offer a range of virtual assistant services tailored just for you. Our virtual assistants are skilled, dedicated, and ready to lighten your workload. Imagine having a partner who can handle your social media management, data entry, and travel plans. Picture a team that creates engaging video content for your audience. Think about never worrying about administrative tasks again. With iRock, you don't just save time, you gain peace of mind. Our virtual assistants are like an extension of your business, allowing you to focus on what you do best. Join the countless small business owners who have elevated their businesses with our VA services. Ready to take the next step towards business success? Discover how we can make your business journey smoother. Unlock the full potential of your business with iRock Marketable Business Solutions.